When the World Cup arrives in the United States, it drops an immense amount of energy directly onto the host cities. The atmosphere in places like Los Angeles shifts instantly. This electricity isn't isolated to one region. Players stepping outside their hotels in Chicago or heading to training sessions across the country are met with massive crowds and an inescapable physical buzz. The tournament easily breaches the walls of traditional sports fandom. It becomes a massive cultural crossover event, seeping into morning television, neighborhood conversations, and everyday American life. For the athletes themselves, this means their personal phones light up with texts from distant relatives and friends who never watch soccer. Suddenly, everyone they have ever known is tuned in to their exact location. All of this celebration creates a dense, heavy pressure. Before a player even laces up their boots to step onto the pitch, they are carrying the weight of a massive, unified national spotlight. Stepping onto that stage is the exact milestone these athletes have imagined since they were kids in the backyard. To actually arrive there is a moment that leaves their younger selves deeply shocked and incredibly grateful. But that deep gratitude is an operational hazard. If a player actually pauses to soak in the magnitude of the moment, they lose the razor-sharp edge required to compete at this level. The pure volume of noise, expectations, and digital notifications will bombard an unprepared mind. The environment hijacks their focus, leading directly to a state of emotional overload. The childhood fantasy usually involves playing beautiful, flowing football on the world stage. The reality involves doing the ugly, uncomfortable little things, battling for loose balls and fighting for every inch of grass. To survive the realization of their own dream, elite players have to actively suppress that emotional high. They trade the grandeur of the spectacle for the unglamorous, immediate demands of the game. That gritty reality becomes obvious the second the whistle blows against South American teams like Paraguay. These matchups bypass polite tactics and immediately become scrappy. They are intensely physical, they are fiercely feisty, and completely combative. Facing that level of constant physical disruption takes a severe toll. A team attempting to play a pristine, highly composed style will quickly find themselves dragged into a chaotic street fight. This is where the risk peaks. If you react out of anger, you make reckless decisions. You end up letting the emotion of the game take advantage of you. You cannot win the physical contest until you secure the psychological one. Coping with the chaos of the pitch requires an absolute lockdown of your own emotional response. To achieve that emotional lockdown, players employ a specific mental filter. The first step is actively cutting ties with history. For the U.S. men's national team, that means blocking out the lingering doubts and the historical baggage of past performances. The past cannot be allowed onto the field. The second filter works in the exact opposite direction. It severs any thought about the future, actively blocking the anxiety surrounding the tournament's final outcome. By dissolving yesterday and ignoring tomorrow, players operate on a single philosophy, taking the moment exactly as it goes. They build a fortress around the present second. Operating entirely in the present allows them to stop reacting and begin to dictate the tempo themselves. This is the anatomy of focus. It is the deliberate rejection of both history and destiny, clearing the mind for immediate, ruthless execution. We saw the immediate result of that mental isolation in the team's decisive 4-1 victory over Paraguay. But a single win is just a data point. When a player maintains this kind of emotional maturity over years, it unlocks an entirely different tier of athletic achievement. You see the ultimate form of this veteran mindset in figures like Cristiano Ronaldo. Capturing titles like the UEFA Nations League year after year requires a mind that refuses to break under the weight of expectations. Sustained triumph on the international stage demands world-class physical talent, yes, but it is ultimately dictated by relentless emotional control. When that internal control holds, the effects radiate outward, spilling off the pitch and back into the host nation. This individual composure is what allows the team to push past previous doubts. It turns the tournament into a real opportunity for the players to express what they are actually capable of doing on the field. The ability to inspire a massive, unified fanbase isn't limited to traditional legacy franchises like the New York Knicks. A national soccer team can capture that exact same civic energy. While the scale of the event provides the platform, It is the athlete's internal focus that enables the performance. Without that steady state, a player cannot deliver the results necessary to connect with and inspire the millions watching. Actualizing a lifelong dream on the world's biggest stage doesn't happen by getting lost in the fantasy of it all. It happens by waking up, looking at the grass in front of you, and by ruthlessly mastering the present moment.